Ever wonder how a bunch of colonies took on the mightiest empire on Earth and won? Let's dive into the incredible story of the American Revolution, a fight for freedom that changed the world forever. It all started simmering long before the first shots were fired. Picture this, it's the mid-1700s. The American colonies are thriving, but they're under British rule. After a costly war with France, Britain was deep in debt. Their solution: tax the American colonies. First came the Sugar Act, then the Stamp Act in 1765, which slapped a tax on everything from legal documents to playing cards. Colonists were furious. They had no representatives in the British Parliament, so they argued it was taxation without representation. This became their rallying cry. Tensions kept rising. In 1770, a street brawl in Boston escalated, and British soldiers fired into a crowd, killing 5 colonists. This event, known as the Boston Massacre, was heavily publicized and fueled anti-British sentiment across the colonies. Then, in 1773, came the Tea Act to protest. A group of colonists disguised as Native Americans boarded British ships in Boston Harbor and dumped an entire shipment of tea into the water. This legendary act of defiance is what we now call the Boston Tea Party. Britain's response was harsh. They passed a series of laws known as the Intolerable Acts, which closed Boston Harbor and placed Massachusetts under direct British control. This was the last straw. In 1774, delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies met in Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress to coordinate a unified resistance. They weren't calling for independence just yet, but they were ready to defend their rights. The spark finally ignited on April 19, 1775. British troops marched to Lexington and Concord to seize colonial military supplies. They were met by local Minutemen, and the shot heard round the world was fired. The American Revolution had officially begun. The Second Continental Congress convened, established a Continental Army, and appointed George Washington as its commander-in-chief. Still, the idea of a complete break from Britain was radical. That changed with Thomas Paine's pamphlet, Common Sense. Published in early 1776, it made a powerful, easy-to-understand argument for independence, and it spread like wildfire. Inspired by these ideas, on July 4th, 1776, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, a bold statement written by Thomas Jefferson that declared the colonies were free and independent states. The war was a long, brutal struggle. The Continental Army, a ragtag force of farmers and volunteers, faced the well-trained, well-equipped British redcoats. The early years were tough, with Washington's army suffering major defeats and enduring a brutal winter at Valley Forge, but their persistence was incredible. The turning point came in 1777 with the Battle of Saratoga. This American victory convinced France to officially join the war on the American side, providing much-needed money, troops, and naval support. With French help, the tide began to turn. The final major battle took place in 1781 at Yorktown, Virginia. Surrounded by American and French forces on land and a French fleet by sea, the British General Cornwallis was forced to surrender his entire army. This decisive victory broke the will of the British to continue the war. 2 years later, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed. Britain officially recognized the United States of America as an independent nation. The war was over. The revolutionaries had achieved the impossible. They not only won a war against a global superpower, but also established a new republic founded on the principles of liberty and self-governance, ideas that would inspire countless others around the globe. The American Revolution is more than just a series of battles. It's a testament to the power of ideas and the determination of people fighting for their rights. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more history stories. See you next time.